What up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Jay, and I'm back with another video. So today is just gonna be basically like a get to know me type joint. I know I don't have, most of the people that follow me already know me, but or some of y'all know me, but yeah, I'm just here chilling, and I was like, let me make this video because I've been dropping videos, and my channel is going to go through a change kind of, but not really, if that makes sense. Y'all going to see me posting a lot more videos as far as what I do, detailing. I'm trying to promote my business, and I'm trying to promote what I do. I'm a professional detailer. I don't just wash cars. I can do customized things to vehicles, and I'm trying to grow as well as a detailer, but also as a business person. So yeah, this is basically what this video is going to be, an introduction to who I am. I kind of put this on hold because I was like, you know what? I don't really got a lot of subscribers. I don't have a lot of followers. And, do people even care at this point, to know anything about me? But I said, you know what? I'm going to just give it a shot and see what happens. My name is Jay. What you got to say? I'm 28. I'm from Jersey. Originally, yeah, I was born in Jersey. I spent a lot of my time in the southern part of Jersey for about 12 years. Lived by the shore, and that was basically like my foundational growing up years. My adult years, my high school. When I hit 7th grade, my father decided that he wanted to move to South Jersey because my father was involved with a church group, and the church was located down in South Jersey, and he felt like he couldn't find no other church that kind of believed like they did. So he, I'm trying to adjust myself, but so he decided to go with them. So boom, we moved down to South Jersey, and it was my first time living with my dad like that consistently. I don't want to, part of my story, I do have to expose people, but I don't want to put their business on blast. So I'm trying to be careful and mindful of other people's privacy. But yeah, like my dad, he did his thing in his youth, got his life together, and got involved with this church group. This church group was very strict and predominantly white. My dad is 100% Puerto Rican, and my mom is black, so that's where the color come from. I mean, it could come from my Puerto Rican roots too. My grandfather was about my complexion, or maybe a little bit darker in the summertime. So either side, honestly, both got the same roots. So my growing up years was different when I moved in with my dad. We moved down to South Jersey, and that was a change of our lives. The church group he was involved in was very strict. Kind of like Amish people, but not really. They didn't believe that women should wear pants. They didn't believe in television, internet. They didn't believe their members should have any parts of that. If you wanted to be a member of the church, you understood that, and this is what you went with. I gave my dad a hard time in the beginning because I really didn't understand it. I didn't agree with it a lot, and so I gave him a hard time. He wanted me to get rid of my stuff, and back then, that's when Lil Bow Wow and Lil Romeo was out. And, I was a kid, and I used to really like them both, and I had their posters. I had more Lil Romeo posters, and I went to a couple of his concerts, thanks to my aunt. Shout out to you. But basically, like, he told me I had to get rid of all this stuff, and this was the rule of the church, and if I was going to be a Christian woman, I had to do all this. So, boom, I fall in line with it, and I do it for about 12 years. And I didn't have many options. My one option, I wish that I would have known to be true to myself back then. That's the only thing I could really say. I didn't really have a lot of options. My other option was to go live with my grandmother in Puerto Rico. I was going to do it, but then I was like, my Spanish ain't up to par. I'm still in school. So I was like, let me just get this a try and rock out. So boom, I did that. So now my life changes completely. Like, we don't have no TV, no nothing. I'm in the area where we lived in the middle of a 25-acre field at this point. It was a farmhouse, and I had to learn everything new. The school uniform was skirt and a blouse. It was an all-white polo, kind of like this, but it had the polo collar. And it was very different. I began to engage in the activities, and in certain times, in certain moments of my life, I felt peace and I felt, you know, happiness. But at other times, I felt a lot of confusion. I didn't understand. And you know what I'm saying? I fought with my innards. I'm sure you guys can all put this together, but I struggled a lot with my sexuality growing up because I knew I was in this religious church that was strict, and all I seen was men and women getting married. Both my parents were straight. So anyway, I didn't really know how to express it. I didn't know how to, I had no interest in boys, and I was always a tomboy growing up, and I kind of kept to myself because of that, because I didn't know how to explain these feelings, and it wasn't as accepted as it is today. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like it is today, you know. And so that was my life, my constant conflict. I talked to the ministers, I talked to different people about it, and I really tried to live the heterosexual life. And at one point, I was talking to a man who wanted to be engaged to me. I dated men. I tried, and it just didn't work. It didn't last. And not that it didn't last, it just didn't work for me. Like, I don't know how to explain it other than if you've been in those shoes, you know what I'm talking about. So, boom. I hit the age 24. And I know for sure in my heart, like, look, at this time, I'm in my career. I got a good job. I was a manager. My life was at its peak. But I had a home. I gotta tell y'all this. I had a home. That home was a 5-bedroom home. It was just me rolling around in there. You know, I had paid off a car, got an SUV. You know, I was young. I did all that at the age of 21. You know, legally had everything that I wanted. I traveled. I went to Africa. Just different things. You know what I'm saying? And when it came to my inner happiness, like coming to terms with my sexuality and who I believed I was, it just really was hard for me to come out and say that I like women. Like, it was really difficult because of how I was brought up and what I seen around me. And no one likes rejection, and I didn't know how it was gonna go. And I gotta say, I told my brother, my younger brother, I told him about it. And he was the first one to accept me. He was the first one to honestly accept me and to be like, man, fuck him. Like, you got to be happy. You got to live your truth. Like, at the end of the day, you tried everything else. And, you know, you really dedicated your life to this. So, you know, you got to be true to yourself at the end of the day. So time went on, and I started telling each of my family members one by one. Oh, let me rewind. So 24 was really hard for me. So that's when I decided I was going to leave the church that I had been brought up in for 12 years. You know, I said, I'm going to leave. And I didn't know how to tell them I was going to leave, but I also wanted the people that I was leaving behind to know that I love them. And that's difficult. And especially when you're in that mindset, the mindset that they're brought up in is, if you leave the church, then you're leaving God. Or if you turn your back on this physical church and don't come here, then you're turning your back on God. And at any moment, his fury is going to fall on you and you're going to drop into hell. And that was difficult for me to really swallow and to really, you know, take in. So it's just like different times I really struggled and battled with who I was, you know, and with that, because I was very conscientious. I was very in tune with other people's feelings, and I didn't pay attention to mine. And that's dangerous, you know what I'm saying? That when you're not happy, that's not a good space to be in. So I told my father, one day I left church. I remember it like it was yesterday. I left church, and I was feeling sick. I really was. My stomach was hurting. I got up and left church, went home. My father came home shortly after that to see what was going on with me. And I told him, I said, Dad, this isn't for me. Like, I said, I've done this for 12 years because I thought you was going to leave me. I thought I wasn't going to have you in my life. You just came back around and I wanted you here. And all the thoughts that I was conflicted with, I kind of just blurted them out. And I told him how I felt. And At the end of the day, I can never take nothing away from my father, and I never will. He's an excellent man. He's an excellent human being, and I would never tell anybody to not follow their heart. And what he's doing right now is following his heart. His heart tells him to stay there. My heart told me to leave, because at the end of the day, I wasn't being true to myself. So I told him, and it kind of, that was a bad encounter, because I just dropped it on him like that. And then I was very hostile because I was so upset, and it was built up anger. It was built up thoughts that I had, and it's just, it went wrong. Like, we had a big falling out. I took responsibility for that because of how my delivery was off. Like, it was off. So anyway, went back and talked to him about 2 weeks after that. I ended up moving in with my best friend. I was an emotional wreck because all I knew was that church life for 12 years. And everything I had built in my life was kind of circled around that. Even my job, like, it was through another church that they associated with, and my boss was part of that church. And so everything at that point in my life was kind of circled around this incubator that I've been living in, like a cocoon type thing. Like, I was sheltered from the world at that point. And I knew that I did the decision I made. I knew that it was going to cost me, and I knew I was going to have to make a choice. You know what I'm saying? I was going to have to make a decision, and I made my decision to look everything that I had worked for, everything that I had gained. And at that point, I was making good money. I was making very good money at that point in my life. And I'm not talking about no chump change, nor am I fronting just to try to sound good. Like, I was making good money, and I looked it all in the face, and I left, and I went down to working for $10 an hour. I moved out into with my best friend, and then my best friend's lease was up, and we didn't really want to rent the place again. So she ended up going her way. I ended up going my way, and I ended up in the city, and you know, where I tried to find my bearings. I tried to reconnect with family, and you know, it's just throughout the whole process, like, what I want to get across to y'all is to be true to yourself, because if it don't come out now, it's going to come out later. And it maybe the later is beneficial later, but at the same time, that later may also mean that it's going to cost you a lot more. Whereas if you would have been just upfront with yourself, upfront with everybody else. And like I said, I talked to ministers. I asked them, can you please tell me if I'm wrong? Like, and that people are not born gay and blah, blah, blah. Their minister in the group, he told me, he said, I'd be lying to you if I told you that people weren't born gay. And he said, but to act upon it is wrong. And I said, so you're telling me to to marry a man knowing I don't have feelings for him, and engage my own personal feelings at the extent of protecting someone else's feelings? And I said, I don't believe that's right. So it's just part of life. You know, it was a big phase I went through. I had to take 10 steps backwards in life. The situation I was in, it messed me up financially. I was used to living a certain lifestyle, and that messed me up. I really had to crawl from the bottom up, honestly, and learn how to stand on my own 2 feet without no kind of security. So I went out into the world, and I started working. You know what I'm saying? I started trying to find myself. I started trying to find what I like. I started trying to, you know, be open about things. And this is all crazy because before I really came out and left, I had to talk with my dad when I was 18 about how I felt in my inside, because I had a best friend at the time. And we had feelings for each other. She was a female. We both had feelings for each other, and we ended up, I think somebody read some text messages in her phone, and they interpreted, they said, that don't sound like a girl talking to a girl. That sounds like a girl talking to a guy. Like, you guys. So then from that point, all the minister, her pastor was involved in the situation. I was involved in the situation. My pastor's wife knew about the situation. So it was a big mess, just too much drama. But prior to that, I had girlfriends in the church world, and I wouldn't call them girlfriends, people that I mess with. And that just goes to show you too, like, it ain't all, you could be very strict and very religious, and I'm not knocking people that have certain beliefs that cause them to live this way, but from my experience, you could be that way, and still be empty and still be lost and still be doing everything that somebody that don't go to church do, basically, because you're not happy. So I had to look at all my accomplishments at that point in my life. At 25, I gave up a 6-year career that I had established. I gave up everything that I had to be myself and to find myself, and I had to start from the bottom up, and not only financially but emotionally. I had to get in tune with myself, to look myself in the mirror, because I had this dreaded fear that, because it's how I was taught, that God didn't love me, he hated me. At any moment I was going to hell. At any moment, you know, this was going to happen to me, that was going to happen to me, he was going to take my life away. And this is the type of things that they put in your head. But I remember just coming to terms with myself and just saying, you know what? At the end of the day, I got one life to live. You feel me? I got I'm only one person. There's never going to be another me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I need to be happy. I was the type of person that sought to make other people happy and put myself on the shelf, put myself on the, you know what I'm saying? And you can't do that, because at the end of the day, you start hurting yourself and you hurt others that you really love. So it's still not like a 100% good situation with my family, nor the people that I left. I told my dad about my girlfriend that I'm currently with. We're very serious. And when I seen that we were very serious, you know, I had to talk with him, because she was coming around and he knew that we were together. And I told him, I said, you know, I'm not trying to disrespect your religious beliefs nor your home. I said, so if this is going to end our relationship right here, I just want you to know that I love you, and, you know, I always have respect for you. But I gave him that opportunity. He said no. He basically wants to work things out and, you know, build together and figure out how to work with the situation. So that's basically what we're doing. And I don't know, that's just my little life story. That's it. Ain't nothing special. But I'm on now. I'm trying to figure out how to start my own business. I'm saving up for that, and I'm a detailer. I love what I do. I love working with the public. I love working with people, and I really always wanted to be in business for myself. So this kind of all came together. But all that to say this, like, don't ever let obstacles, your present obstacles, stop you from reaching your end goal or pursuing it, going in that direction. And another thing, don't let the lack of support, because that's one thing that I felt. I lost friends that I had for 12 years over in 1 week. Everybody stopped calling me. Everybody stopped hitting my phone up. No text messages from nobody. No, how you doing? Nothing. Like, you immediately become shunned. And, you know, that was difficult for me. I went through a phase where I had suicidal thoughts because I felt that alone. You know what I'm saying? And it's just something that I don't never want to face again. You know what I'm saying? Those pressures, those feelings. And I never wish it on no one else. So I'm hoping that this story could help somebody else, because it's not easy. This is who I am. This is Jay at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy. I'm free-spirited. I'm bubbly, hardworking. I like to help people get on their feet and be successful. But I kind of took a pause from that because I got to focus on my own. You know, at the end of the day, I got to focus on building myself up. And I just hope y'all really rock with me. Y'all continue to watch my videos. I'm going to be dropping more detailing videos. I'm going to be dropping more videos about myself. And I don't know. Let's just work together, y'all.